Hello, this is Annika Weber from Keller Williams Real Estate in Pensacola, Florida, and surrounding areas. I just wanted to get on here and talk to anyone who's a seller, and also this could be useful for buyers as well. To be honest, this is going to be a video log for me to go back and review things that I've experienced, and as I experience them, I just kind of want to log them and share them with really with everybody, and you guys can decide and take from these experiences what you will. But something that just recently came up is a seller who is hesitant to fill out their seller disclosure letter with detail. And when I say detail, I essentially mean answers to yes and no questions. And I understand there is a concern for the possibility of getting sued, but something you have to consider is whether you are aware of this information or not. And if you say you don't know, there's the same likelihood that you can get sued for not disclosing something that you know of. And so just be sure to consider that when you're filling out the information. Also, understand that the seller disclosure letter is your main way to communicate to buyers the state of the home at the point that you are selling it to these people. You also need to consider what you're listing your house for. Are you trying to get top dollar for your house, or is your house in a much needed repair state where sellers need to be aware, hey, you're probably going to have to replace the roof, and the electrical wiring is outdated, and the HVAC is 20 years old, and things like that. It's actually really helpful for buyers to understand what they're getting themselves into and whether they're going to have to prepare to do a full gut job reno, or if you have been a really responsible homeowner and have kept up with maintenance properly and really maintained the home. If that comes across on the seller disclosure letter that you have really maintained the home, say you replaced the roof a couple years ago. If it asks, did you have a roof leak? You could either say, obviously depending on what happened, did you have a roof leak, or did you just replace the roof because of your insurance? I live in Florida, and they pretty much want a roof that's not any older than 10 years. So there's a high likelihood you replaced your roof just because your insurance went up. So if your roof did leak, though, and you got a new roof, that tells the new owners that you maintained this house. That way, if you have a water heater that's 15 years old, but you did regular maintenance on it and always had it serviced, they're going to be less scrutinizing of the home, and they're going to have more of a sense of peace when it comes to buying your house. If you're trying to list your house for top dollar and you know that your house is worth a lot because you've put a lot of money and time and energy into maintaining your home properly, then you should have no problem disclosing the state of the house, because even if it's an older house, if you've maintained that house and that house has good bones and you've kept it up and kept it clean, excuse me, there's a loud truck. If you maintain the house and you've kept it up and you've done all the maintenance to just keep it going, then you should have no worries about disclosing that information. Seriously. Okay, the truck's leaving. That's super annoying. So I just want to go through a couple things on the seller disclosure letter that you should be able to answer with a yes or no and not a do not know. Are structures, including roofs, ceilings, walls, doors, windows, foundation, pool, hot tub, and spa, if any, structurally sound and free of leaks? You should be able to say yes or no to that, because if it's not structurally sound, then one, you need to explain what's not structurally sound, because no one buying the house wants any surprises about the structure or the the security of the house. So that is a yes or no question, and that needs to be answered. If you do have concerns about, ceilings, walls, windows, foundation, then just say yes, and this is the issue, and it's going to cost probably this much to fix it. Like, buyers want to be aware of what they're getting themselves into. Are existing major appliances and heating, cooling, mechanical, electrical, security, sprinkler systems in working condition? Do they work for you right now? Are you having any issues? Do you have to duct tape things together to make them work? Or is everything functioning properly? If it's all functioning properly, then you can say, yes, they're all in working order. Don't say I don't know, because all that's doing is sending a red flag to buyers saying, well, if they don't know if the heating or cooling, electrical, sprinkler systems are in working condition, why would I even consider buying this house if they have no clue what this is? Like, do they live in the house right now? Or do they live in another state and they're just unsure of the current state of the house? But if you live in the house, you should have a good idea whether your house is in working order. Okay? Let's see. Has past or present water intrusion affected the property? Now, that could feel like a trick question, because if you've only owned the house for 5 to 10 years, and the house was built, I don't know, in the 70s, you might not know if past water intrusion has ever affected the property. But the seller disclosure form in its entirety is essentially what you as the current owner are aware of. It's not asking what happened before you owned the home. If it was disclosed to you when you bought the house from the previous owners, if they disclosed something that they either claimed on insurance or had a permit for and anything like that, and you were aware because you got it on your seller disclosure form from when you bought the house, then you are aware of it, by the way. So keep that in mind. But if nothing has happened and it wasn't disclosed to you and nothing's happened while you've owned it, then you can say, no, there has not been water intrusion to affect the property. This one's interesting. Oh, wait, not that one. So, have there been any plumbing leaks since you have owned the property? You cannot say you do not know. This is about, it even states, since you have owned the property. If you don't know if there's been plumbing leaks since you've owned the property, how do I know that you've maintained the proper plumbing or done any maintenance on this house to keep it in good repair? So think about that one. There's another one that says, has the roof ever leaked during your ownership? Has the roof ever leaked during your ownership? That's a yes or no question. You should answer yes or no. If the answer is yes, but you just got the roof replaced, that tells the new owners or the buyers that you saw a problem and you addressed it and you fixed the roof, and now everything is in good working order for the roof. So, okay, so I'm not going to beat this up too much, but I just want to, one, kind of record my experiences in real estate and just kind of be able to refer back to some of these things. And also help any other, realtors out there or sellers when they're struggling with what to do with this form. And then buyers, you need to be looking at these forms when you're looking at a house. Your realtor has access to these forms from the MLS, and you need to be looking at it, because if you see a bunch of do not knows, like, that should be sending up red flags. And if you as a seller don't realize that it's sending red flags, then you need to consider what you're trying to ask for your home. If you want to get top dollar from your home, but you're unwilling to disclose this information to future buyers, then you are sending very mixed messages to the market. So, just wanted to put that out there and hopefully help somebody in the future and just ease your mind, because I understand that when you're disclosing these things, maybe it can seem daunting, or you might overthink some of the answers in a way that, well, I don't know if this happened before I owned the house. Like, what gives me the authority to say this has never happened to the property? And I understand how that can be a little unnerving, but just remember that the seller disclosure form is based on while you've owned the home, and it's not based on anything beyond that. And realize not saying something can get you in just as much trouble as saying yes or no. Someone can sue you for not disclosing information that you knew, but said you don't know. So I'll just close at that. Like I said, my name is Annika Weber. I am a realtor here in the Pensacola area with Keller Williams Gulf Coast. And if you have any questions or just want advice, I'm happy to help. You can get to my bio and my contact information. I also want to let you know that if you're planning on selling your home by owner, this seller's disclosure form is a requirement as well. So keep in mind, there are some disclosure forms, and there's other ones like lead-based paint and flood disclosures and HOAs, and there's lots of different things that, even if you're doing it for sale by owner, there's requirements that you need to know. And I'm happy to help with those as well. Just help you answer these questions. Have a good day.